Welcome, everybody. We are back to talk special edition.
Mhm.
Steve, thanks once again for joining us for our
Yeah.
ongoing series, doing the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Star Wars CCG sets. I think we want to start this with a little bit of sad news. So Chuck Kalenback, who was one of the big designers of Star Wars CCG, a big kind of just like a legend in the golden era of collectible card games, did a bunch of other stuff, really storied career. He actually passed away. So really sad to hear that news.
Yeah.
I did a video with him about a year ago. I'll post in the link
Yeah.
or in the description if people are curious. But just a really cool guy, so full of just like life and interests and funny and interactive. And so I was really sad to hear that news, but just wanted to say that at the top end.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of thoughts there?
No, I mean, he was a legendary game designer. He was, by this, we were talking about Star Wars CCG. We're talking about special edition today. By this point in Star Wars' run, he was one of the lead designers. He did a lot to sort of refine the game and create some of its most beloved expansions. Same for Star Trek. Then he was like a principal designer on, I think he created Lord of the Rings TCG and then a bunch of other Decipher stuff and other games too. Really good guy. I think he we can post a link to his son announced on Facebook his passing. I think he had a short battle with cancer that he lost a couple of days ago. But his son said, they don't need any GoFundMe money or anything. There's not going to be a service. They just want people to get out and play some games with their friends, and that would be the best way, they said, to remember him, is to play some of the games he designed, or really any games, just to share the love of gaming with your friends.
Yeah, that's a really lovely sentiment. Okay. So we're going to transition to talking about Special Edition, which is the 7th set in the Star Wars.
7th full set, yes.
Full set in the Star Wars CCG universe.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that this is a soft reset of the game?
Yes.
Is that kind of one way to think about this?
It is. It's interesting that every Decipher game had like a soft reboot at some point. We talked about on a different series of videos, First Contact for Star Trek about a year before this. Yeah, Special Edition is definitely the soft reboot for Star Wars CCG. But to contextualize this, we're in November of 1998. We like to do a little bit of history lessons here. Top song and top movie. Any thoughts, November 98, where we are?
I think we're in that. Is it Armageddon?
Yeah, I'm afraid it was a Deep Impact or Armageddon. It was the previous top movie. It was one of those, but
we're not that far ahead in time. It's only been like
we've jumped a few months. It's no. Let's go towards the Adam Sandler classic filmography.
Oh, is it like Happy Gilmore Wedding? No, Wedding Crashers was early, so it's kind of like Happy Gilmore.
It's Waterboy. It's the Waterboy.
That is actually, Waterboy's great. That's a great one.
For songs, it's Doo Wop, also known as That Thing by Lauryn Hill.
There's nothing like hearing you read that just like monitor, like flat, like also known as Doo Wop.
Yeah, not a song I listen to very often, but anyway, Lauryn Hill. Contextualizing in the CCG history, it's coming. You have Deep Space Nine for Star Trek over the summer, then Dominion comes out 1 month later in December. So high point of Star Trek CCG. Magic, Urza's Saga, one of the most beloved, really overpowered sets, came out in October. So we're in November, and then Pokemon comes out officially in the US in January, but there's like a 24 card like demo game that comes out a few weeks after this. So this is kind of like the last hurrah of the big diversity golden age of CCGs before Pokemon comes in a few months later and kind of like dominates everything.
Yeah, I think this is also an interesting point in the timeline where like this is where it was not apparent that Magic was like number one forever, always. Like I think that Star Wars CCG and Magic were like 1 and 2, with Magic being 1, but like it kind of felt like Magic had stumbled on some of the sets. Like Urza Saga is divisive. Some people love it, and so I think that it wasn't clear that like Magic is just going to win this. Everyone should buy Black Lotus as investment pieces. Like it was kind of like, there's a really diverse world. A lot of stuff can happen.
Right.
like Wizards of the Coast was putting out a bunch of random games. I
Yeah,
think
sure.
the Harry Potter game came out. I think that was more like 2000.
Yeah, Harry Potter's a little later than this, but yeah, they got Netrunner. They've got a few other things as well. The unfortunately named Jihad game was a few years before this.
I randomly have a booster box of that. I thought I would learn to play, and then I was just like, I don't want to get caught up in the YouTube like censor algorithm with like learning to play Jihad with Matt Manning. Like, no, I don't actually need that in the search.
It's the same. It's the same game as Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, right? They just renamed it.
It is. I think they just renamed it because,
for reasons. Yes. Yes.
But anyways.
Yeah. So it's Star Wars. This is a big month for Star Wars. November 98. You also got an enhanced premiere came out the same month, which I'd forgotten was the exact same month. So, in 2025, we're talking about CCG fatigue, but I think it might have been a little bit of a heavy month for the wallet if you're playing Star Wars with the enhanced premiere and this. But okay, so this game is getting this special edition, right? So it's we're still in the 9-card booster pack era, but the special thing with this set is it also had starter decks for the first time since premiere. So you've got a $12.95 light side and dark side starter deck. And these are not just random mashes of cards. They do have fixed cards in them, which do a little bit to make the decks more playable out of the box. Still a random experience the rest of the box, but these fixed cards are helpful.
Yeah, I've actually wondered how it would feel to like draft these. Like, would it be fun to do a little like draft plus a pack? I don't know.
I think so. I remember I played in the pre-release for this in '98, and what you got is I think you got a starter deck, either light or dark, and I think you got a couple packs, and then I think you opened them and gave the ones that are not the correct side of the force to your opponent, and he gave you the ones you were playing. And I remember it being pretty fun, as I recall, because I think the starter deck, because it's got those universal sights, I think it was pretty playable.
Yeah, I think this is like the downfall of this game is like the light side, dark side just makes the draft environment really awkward. As someone who's built a cube, and it's like hard because you have to do the draft twice, and that's just
right.
cognitive load of like I played in a cube with some guys around here, and it was fun, but it's like draft your light side and then draft your dark side. I'm like, man, this is a lot of draft.
Yeah, it really is. But it's an okay. I think it's a decent sealed experience. You also get this. You get a new rulebook, a rulebook 2.0, and you get a really chunky glossary, which I wish I had my glossary right now because I still have my original glossary I got at that pre-release. It's a thick book. It's like a novel.
Yeah, I have one of them sitting around with like, coffee stained pages kind of deal. But I think that this set, if the game could have started with special edition, maybe, I don't know, it just feels like it reset a lot of the clunky things. And if we could almost discard like everything special edition, I'm thinking new format like special edition to Death Star 2.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, interesting.
But like it's just like get rid of inserts, get rid of like some just like broken-y concepts, right? That just didn't work. And then just start over with this. I think one of my rules with CCGs as well is like that every 8 to 10 sets there needs to be some kind of reset, right? And that's right. Totally manipulated now with Magic having 7 sets a year or something. This is like the fundamental like idea around a rotation, right? Like you're doing a rotation for modern play because it's like, yeah, we can actually have a card pool of 600,000 or whatever, like 6,000. It doesn't make for like a viable thing. But special edition, really cool set. Do you want to get into the good?
Yeah, sure. And it's also notable because this is the only it's aptly named special edition because it includes images from the special edition films which come out a year or so earlier, maybe 2 years earlier,
like that beautiful CGI Jabba, for example.
Like the Play-Doh Jabba literally looks like he's made out of clay. But there are some other cool images. But interesting, I did not realize till today is that not only does it include special edition images, but it's the only set with special edition images. Like Endor, Death Star 2, those don't have any of the special edition additions to it. It's only this set.
I think they got really lucky. Obviously when they decided to make a Star Wars game in 1995, they're like, oh, it's Star Wars. And they're like, wait, they're re-releasing the films.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I don't know if they had that information when they were design cycle of 95, but probably not. And I think like,
no, it's interesting. We should sometime talk about just like the sort of the the building hype from through the 90s, from like the Heir to the Empire novels, through the video games, through this game, through the special editions, to the prequels.
Because I think now it's easy to like kind of overlook special edition as like a re-relaunch, like, but that was the first Star Wars movie content in 20 years.
Yeah. And the cynical thing is that it was basically Lucas needed to fundraise for himself to make the prequels. So he found a way to get the films back in the theaters and make $1 bajillion off them.
I mean,
independent filmmaker George Lucas. Let's not forget.
I mean, re-releasing films is such a hack. I just saw that they're re-releasing Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 together in one movie. In like some sort of like, was it like A24, whatever that like fancy film.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I might go see that. Like, go sit for 4 hours.
I never saw it in theaters, so I might as well.
I'm like, I'll give Quentin Tarantino $14. Like, you know, but that'll probably make $50 million at the box office.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever, $5 million in costs of re-editing.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's a lot of good. There's not a lot of bad, but there's a little bit of ugly.
Sure.
So, kind of starting off here.
Well, you know, they all the main characters for the most part are back in the set, and particularly the Vader and the Obi are really good. And the Vader, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. I think we talked about him a lot in our Vader tier list video, but strong case for the best card in the game, perhaps.
I also think the best designed card in the game, like the Force choke thing, like it just feels very Return of the Jedi. Right? You just can kill 2 guys with the Force choking them.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like a well-designed card.
Yeah. And the image is amazing. The way they capture the steam, the light on the mask. It's great.
Yeah. Ben Kenobi as well is like just a really thematic card. He's the one like, you know, he can revive a guy that just dies.
Yes.
Kind of like a Ben Kenobi, who's notably not Obi-Wan, right? He is a Jedi Knight, but he's not like the warrior Jedi Knight.
Right.
And mentor Jedi Knight.
Yeah, the Leia and the Han are not quite as good, but you know, these two are awesome. Then I think objectives are the big thing for the set that I want to talk about. So I think we've alluded to this in some previous videos, but the objectives come out in this set, and they give a structure to this game that it's never had before. It allows you to begin reenacting storylines, things that I had always wanted to do, that were sometimes like not totally viable, and they gave you. They you know, for those who aren't super deep in this game, they come out at the beginning of the game, they replace your starting location, and instead they give you usually one or more locations, some other cards to start with, and they give you a platform from which to begin doing a thing, whether it's hunting down the Jedi or training Luke or any other character to be a Jedi, or hidden base, which is like spaceships protecting your hidden base, and they're really fun, and they're pretty powerful. And at first, when they came out, I remember thinking that, oh, this is bad because it's going to like make it so there's only a couple different viable decks. But as a kind of a newbie, not a newbie, but like a more casual player back then, what I didn't realize that actually there were only a couple viable decks. And this expands the options of viable decks quite a bit.
It's interesting to think about the dissemination of information back then. Like, there, you know, net decking is a really common thing. You look up and see what the top decks are in Magic, whatever, Pokemon, everyone plays that. But you can like find it very easily. Here it was like your community of people you're playing with might be at your local library or game store or whatever. And you're like, that guy has 3 Vaders. His deck is unstoppable. It's like, well, really, you know, turns out whatever, Sense and Alter is the meta, but no one knew that. Because information wasn't available. I really like objectives because they give you a platform and a framing device of like, what should you be doing, right? Otherwise you're just like, I deploy my guy here, and then I do this, and I hope he comes to battle me because I have a secret card that will be really annoying. And so it gives you like a mission, an objective, if you will. It's kind of nice to have that framing, and they're also super thematic. The only thing I wish about objectives is I wish we had more, right? Like I wish we had a few more, but like hidden base is such a cool, like the Rebel hidden base. And you know, you're probing, and there's like cards to like probing is not actually as hard as you think, and like you're searching around. I do think it goes a little bit to like asymmetrical gaming that is challenging. Like if you're playing hidden base and your opponent is playing zero space, it's like, well, this is just gonna be. I'm gonna be doing my thing in space. You're gonna be doing your thing on ground.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to ever like square that up, right?
Right.
Because that just happened a lot of times where people do different stuff.
Right. True. But like, yeah, I mean, I think arguably Hidden Base is the first time you can really have a tier 1 generic X-Wing deck, for instance. Something people always wanted, but now it exists. In the bad, we'll talk a little bit about the fact that not all the objectives are created equal, unfortunately. But the last 2 cards up there, Cloud City Celebration and Bosk and Houndstooth. I put those up there to show that, like, I think this is the set they finally figure out and fix the rare slot, where when you open a pack of Special Edition, the rare is almost always good. If not great, it's still either useful or cool, or very few Special Edition rares are just like in the bottom of your bulk box and you forgot they're rare. A lot of them are things like you can name like things like Krillin Engineering Corporation or Dreaded Imperial Starfleet, or a bunch of cards like that, which are good in a particular deck. Or even something like, Vader's Shuttle, which I don't know, not that great of a card, but it's Vader's Shuttle. It's cool. You're not bummed to open that. So I think from here on out in Endor, Death Star 2, and the rest of the sets, the rare slot is always something you're happy to see, as opposed to like a no at Dark Side is a rare, or like some Belden's Eye. What? Like no more of that. I think for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, and I think there's ways of like the rare slot doesn't always have to be OP, but it could be iconic or collectible. Right? You can choose a path, right?
You can choose a path, right? Like Vader's Shuttle, something like that.
Yeah.
The Sarlacc, the Sarlacc is, but it's still like it's cool.
Yeah, you're like Crate Dragon's another one, which I can actually random trivia fact: the Crate Dragon as a concept came from this game. I think there's like but like the one we later saw in The Mandalorian, season 2 or 3?
Yeah. It definitely comes from gaming. I think it actually, it comes from gaming originally, not from The Mandalorian, which is cool.
Yeah, or maybe it was like mentioned and it was like the first depiction. I don't know, but like,
yeah. This is only the first image of it is on this card for sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if that Crate Dragon looks like the Crate Dragon they imagined. I also don't know where they got that image from.
It kind of looks like a lizard you might see in your backyard. They superimposed over like a Stormtrooper action figure, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, so I think you're right about the rare slot. I think they fixed it. They figured out how to make it not lame or weird.
Right. Yeah,
which
exactly.
I will open Special Edition. I think it's fun. There's some good pulls. I mean, I think there is really the best pull is probably the Vader, and then maybe Obi is the next best one.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of it.
The objectives usually command about $10 because you need them. Everybody needs a copy or two.
Yeah.
I think that Bosk and Houndstooth is worth a little something. But yeah, no, there are a lot of rares in this set. So because it's a big set, it's like a double-sized set. So not everything can be super valuable, and they still printed quite a bit of the set too.
Yeah, that's a good kind of like transition to just price. This is still pretty affordable. I think it completes like $200 to $300 kind of deal. And pack is like $10-15, which that's still too expensive for me to be opening it. But it's like if you wanted to buy a box, you can get a box for $500 or something, $600.
And I think we'll talk about this more when we get to the Endor video next. But I feel like when I'm going through, you and I have both gone through a lot of old collections, and I feel like when we go through old collections, this is the last set that you find just gobs and gobs of it in like somebody's old dusty collection. For whatever reason, I feel like when you get to Endor, it starts to dry up, and then Death Star 2, very little of it. I think it has to do with the timeline of when these sets were released, and then maybe Pokemon comes in the scene next. But this seems like the last set people bought in vast quantities.
I think that's spot on right there. For some reason, I see a lot of these kind of posts, and running a YouTube channel, like guys reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I have a collection from Premier to Special Edition. What do you think it's worth?" And I was like, "It's just maybe a couple $100." It's just like you stopped before things got more valuable.
Yes.
And so it's not worthless, but it's a lot. I think a lot of people just hit this, and maybe the movie's coming out like spurred interest and then people forgot, or
we'll think more about this when we get to Endor. We'll talk more about this. I have a few theories as to what happened, but
let's get to the bad dance. There's just some like
the bad is like there's some bad objectives, and the bad objectives are particularly galling because they're kind of traps for, I think, less savvy players. Like if you get into the set, you see the objectives, they're all rare. Like, oh, these are all there's the signposts. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be building one of these decks. And if, hunt down, definitely. Dantooine based Operation Y-Wings. Sorry, man. that ain't it.
No, and like I applaud them for thinking it would work, but like seems like with some of the card design, they just didn't. I don't know. I want to say they didn't test it, but like the operatives thing is a great example of like.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
The wild.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the challenge as a game designer is like players' mission or some players is to break your game. Right? How do you stop them from breaking your game?
Right. So yeah, the bad is that I wish that all the objectives were equally viable in the set. They really should have been, but the fact that there's like probably like 3. I think this one, Rescue the Princess, and Carbon Chamber Testing are not good. And they really at least 2 of those 3 are never going to be any good, which is a shame.
Yeah.
The ugly is operatives. This is the objective that powers operatives, and there's an operative, the Aldrin operative. There's an objective for light and for dark. Imperial Occupation and Liberation, I think it's called. And these little common, I applaud the idea of the operatives, just like, let's make a bajillion of these little common characters for every planet, and we'll make universal sites so you can now play on every planet in the Source Galaxy. You can have little like occupations and liberations going on galaxy wide. But the operatives are extremely overpowered. So overpowered, the 1998 World Championship, which happened a few weeks or days after the set came out, was completely swarmed by just 2 decks, Dark Side Operatives and Light Side Operatives. And it's a mess. Yeah, they're just incredibly overpowered.
Totally agree. And that reminds me of something that I would put in a good category as well, which is the universal sites.
Oh, yeah, the universal sites are good. Yes.
They're not perfect. Like, I think that stupid creature, what's his name? Bebo or whatever, that eats the
the Nuge from Dagobah. Yeah.
Like there's some annoying stuff like that. I think creatures should just be like wiped out of the game altogether.
Well, they probably didn't think about this common creature from Dagobah that no one used, because the swamp can pull out the Nuge, and that's a huge problem. Yes, that's I don't think that was tested very well.
Yeah, I guess it's also like, well, it made light side or throne root domains possible, but it made it also possible in an annoying way where you're just like choking your opponent through like a crappy Dagobah creature.
Yeah.
So it's like,
but the universal sites are good. It's nice to have that option to play on any planet you want. But yeah, okay. So the operatives are really powerful. So this is the first time Decipher had to errata something and change the rules. So they actually the errata went to Hidden Base because Hidden Base was a little too powerful originally, but they changed the rules for operatives such that operatives alone have no presence. So they can't battle or fortune on their own, and that ended the operative deck, which is great.
I don't know if a better approach would have been to ban cards. Like, I don't know what is less in the cognitive load to like have another line of rules being like, okay, now in our 75-page rule book, there's now 76 pages, right?
Yeah.
Is that the solution, or is it just saying like, yeah, these cards are banned? Right? I
think the better option generally is to ban things. The problem with Decipher is the bans, but also the problem is there's like 30 operatives. It's like 15 for each side of the force. So I guess you could have a ban list of all the operatives, but because you can't just ban the objectives, because even without the objectives, the operatives are still pretty powerful. So I think you'd have had to ban every single one of the operatives, which I think it's good that they just changed the rules here, because then it allowed us to keep the cards. Actually, those operatives are kind of useful as bases for virtual cards later.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I think, even dealing with like ban lists now, I'm like, I don't want to be looking at like the latest list on some website that I forget 2 months later. It's just a lesson in like designing things right the first time so that you don't have to worry about this. I do think I just wish they banned some stuff like inserts and like the later fixes that we'll talk about of like just trying to like have a magic bullet. Like, well, there's this secret magic bullet for inserts that someone might have, so don't play inserts. There's also this one for sentinels, so
it creates kind of like you need to know sort of like the archaeology and the history of this game in a way that's unlike other games.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts here,
No,
Steve?
yeah, I mean, this is a turning point for the game. The game is never the same after this, and I think it's for the better. I think the objectives create a very interesting structure for this game that is the Star Wars CCG most people think back fondly and remember.
I totally agree. And, talking about these videos and also knowing the end result, which is we're on set 7 and there will be 5 more sets. Like it makes me not like sad, but I'm getting nostalgic. Like
Yeah.
it does feel like the game had finally gotten its like momentum and like
Mhm.
found a purpose. And then to know in 5 sets it'll all be over. And a bunch of
Yeah.
filler
Yep.
product and
Yep.
other crap. But it's kind of that what could have been with this
Sure.
game engine.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all the time we got for today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will catch you later.
See you next time.